Hello everyone, and welcome to our 2022 Donate Life Day event. My name is Theresa Turner, and I am the Ambassador and Advocacy Coordinator with LifeSource. Unfortunately, our regularly scheduled MC, Carrie Wenzel, was unable to be with us this evening, so it is my pleasure to bring everyone together to celebrate. This is our second year holding this event virtually. While we miss being with you and honoring you in person, I'm excited that this virtual format has allowed us to welcome a broader audience. We're thrilled to share that we have people tuning in from Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota, and all across the country. In fact, you'll see a live chat to the right of this video. Take a moment to say hello, tell us where you're tuning in from, and feel free to use the chat during the event to congratulate honorees throughout the program. Putting this event together would not have been possible without a few key organizations. We want to take a few minutes to recognize our sponsors of this evening's event. The transplant programs at Mayo Clinic, Mhealth Fairview, and Sanford Health, including Bismarck, Fargo, and Sioux Falls, and thank them for their generous support and partnership. Now, let the celebration begin. Our Donate Life Day celebration is intentionally held in April each year during National Donate Life Month. National Donate Life Month is a time to honor those who have given the gift of life through organ, eye, and tissue donation, and also a time to celebrate those who have received the gift of life. This year's National Donate Life Month theme is Be a Donor. We are inspired by the vital role that bees play in sustaining life. Bees are a small but powerful life force working together with dedication, collaboration, and a strong sense of community. This past month, our LifeSource community has worked together to share the message of donation as our partners, advocates, and ambassadors across our entire service area. We're busy participating in flag-raising ceremonies, blue and green building lightings, media stories, visits to DMVs, and more. As we wrap up this National Donate Life Month, we have one request. Many of you have registered as organ, eye, and tissue donors, and for that we say thank you. Our other ask of you is to keep the conversation going. Talk about donation with one other person, perhaps a loved one. These conversations can make a huge difference in raising awareness about this important work. Before we give out our first award, I'd like to introduce a special guest. Following Susan Gunderson's retirement in March, longtime Chief Administrative Officer Peter Farstead was announced as the interim CEO while LifeSource works to identify the right person to lead this life-saving organization into the future. Peter is here to share information on what we, as a community, made possible during 2021 and our vision for the future. Let's pass it on to Peter.
Hello, and thank you for being here with us this evening. My name is Peter Farstead, and I have been the Chief Administrative Officer for LifeSource for the past 21 years. Currently, I have the privilege of serving as the organization's Interim Chief Executive Officer. The term interim does not mean that we exist in a holding pattern or an inactive state. On the contrary, I accepted this responsibility in service to our mission and remain fully committed to the principles of excellence and innovation, which are our foundation. It is my responsibility as the interim CEO to ensure we are prepared for the future and for our next leader. This event is one of the perks of my role because I get to stop and celebrate and recognize you. Donate Life Day is our way of showing gratitude for you, our advocates and partners who help LifeSource save lives and offer hope and healing to donor families. With your help, LifeSource achieved some incredible milestones in 2021. In May, LifeSource honored the wishes of the 5,000th organ donor since official reporting began in 1990. In November, LifeSource honored the wishes of the 10,000th tissue donor since the program began in 1999. And as of the end of 2021, more than 3.8 million people throughout Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota have checked the donor box at their local driver's license office. none of this incredible work would be possible without people saying yes to donation. Our work is about people. I'd like to invite you to take a moment to think of someone who inspires you to support this life-saving work. I hold close to my heart the stories of donors, donor families, and transplant recipients. This is my why. Together, we can save more lives and inspire more people to register as donors. The possibilities of what we achieve are endless. LifeSource maintains an unwavering focus on our mission to save lives. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your part in making this breathtaking mission a reality. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. Now, let's give out some awards. To help us honor and celebrate our 2021 honorees, it is my pleasure to introduce Joshua Courthouse, LifeSource Organ Services Manager.
Hello everyone, I'm Joshua Courthouse, Organ Services Manager at LifeSource. It is my privilege to participate in Donate Life Day and help recognize our amazing honorees. Our first honoree is the Mhealth Fairview Ecomo program, led by Dr. Jason Bardis, Mark Ebling, Marita Sanders, and Craig Meny. The Ecomo program was nominated by LifeSource Hospital Liaison Ann Lovedahl, who adds, I nominated the Ecomo team for the University of Minnesota Medical Center for several reasons. First, they have been exceptionally supportive of donation. They collaborate with the LifeSource team to save lives through organ donation. They are creative in proposing ways we can work together to increase donation. In addition, they have built an amazing program that saves the lives of people who previously would have passed away from their injuries. When these patients are not able to survive their injury, even with the help of ECMO, they view organ donation as another way to save lives and provide hope and healing. In the past 5 years, 60% of the organ donors at the university were ECMO patients. It is an honor to work with this team, and I know with Jason, Mark, Marita, and Craig at the helm that this program will continue to grow. Many thanks for all you do.
My name is Marita Sanders, and I'm the nurse manager of the Adult Cardiovascular ICU at the University of Minnesota.
And I'm Jason Bardis. I'm the medical director of that same ICU.
My name is Craig Meny, and I'm the Ecomo program manager at the U.
Thank you for this award. It means a great deal to all of our teams. On 4E, we care for many donors and many recipients. We are acutely aware of the responsibility we have to all these patients and families. Some who are seeking comfort and meaning, others who are still seeking to pursue life. We are also aware that the community around us has changed and that people come to us already knowledgeable about donation and transplantation because of all the excellent outreach and education that LifeSource has done. This means that they're bringing the discussion to us at the bedside early on and sometimes without much warning. We need to be able to answer their questions, we need to be able to address their concerns, and we need to be able to do it well. And to do that, we need your help and we need your partnership. So having you give us this partnership award is a significant investment in us, and we appreciate that, and we promise and pledge that we will become better and better partners every single day. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Jason, Mark, Marita, and Craig, congratulations, and thank you for your collaboration in saving lives. Our second hospital partner of the year honoree is Melissa Thorson from North Memorial Health Hospital. As part of her role as Director of Trauma and Critical Care at North Memorial Health, Melissa, Mel, Thorson has served as Donation Committee Chair and the primary leader for the North Memorial's donation program for nearly 7 years. Mel is preparing to transition this portion of her leadership to a colleague, and tonight we are honored to recognize this chapter of Mel's advocacy and contributions. During the time of Mel's leadership, North Memorial and LifeSource have together cared for over 500 organ, eye, and/or tissue donors. This could only be possible with a strong process and system in place within the hospital. Mel is a master of strong processes and systems. Every time LifeSource has come to Mel with an opportunity to strengthen policy, introduce initiatives, or simplify and simply collaborate better in the shared mission of donation, Mel's response is yes. What's the next step? When processes don't go as intended, Mel's response is, how do we fix it for next time? Mel jokes about how she is not an emotional person, and indeed, her matter-of-fact approach, along with her high expectations and mission-driven focus, have built the enduring infrastructure of North Memorial's strong donation program. We are grateful this evening to recognize Mel and to thank her for her deep care for patients, families, communities, and all who serve them, including both North Memorial and LifeSource care teams.
Thank you so much to LifeSource for honoring the work and commitment of the team at North Memorial Health with the Hospital Partner of the Year Award for 2021. I've been lucky to be involved in organ, eye, and tissue donation for 22 years at North Memorial in various ways, from being a bedside nurse in the trauma ICU to being a clinical nurse specialist and manager of trauma services, and finally as the leader with oversight for donation and the Gift of Life and Sight Committee for our organization from 2015 until earlier this year. This path allowed me to be part of each step on the hospital side of the donation process, from direct care of donors and families to helping our team develop strong processes to support donation and to celebrate donors, families, and team members committed to this work and mission. As a level 1 trauma center, donation has long been a source of great pride for our organization and team members. The relationship with LifeSource as an organization, as well as the personal connections made with LifeSource team members, such as Ann Lovedahl, Tim Brascazzi, Kathy Selden, Katie McKee, and Susan Gunderson, to name a few, for me and our team has been nothing short of amazing. Personally and professionally, donation is important to me. I have family members who have benefited from the gifts of eye and tissue donation through corneal and bone grafting. I've been fortunate to have been able to be with families during their hardest moments, losing someone, and seeing the peace they've been able to obtain through donation. And I've been able to be part of how that shapes their story through ongoing storytelling through our Wall of Heroes and events celebrating our donation heroes and their families for their gift. This part of my work has been rewarding, and I'm grateful for the opportunity to have been part of something that gives hope in difficult times and brings our team members such pride in the role they play in that care and relationship to our patients and families. This award is so meaningful to me and to North Memorial Health, primarily because of that multidisciplinary team commitment to our partnership with LifeSource and to our patients and their loved ones. I'm proud and thankful to our senior leadership team, including our CEO, Dr. Croston, and our Chief Hospital Officer, Andy Cochran, for supporting and valuing our organization's commitment to this work, and for everyone in being willing to always do better and focus on how we can grow and change in the spirit of improvement. This award, primarily in my opinion, celebrates the North Memorial Health team, and I'm thankful to have been able to be involved with what they have done and will continue to do. Thank you.
Mel, thank you for all you have done to advance donation at North Memorial, and we look forward to more connections with you in the future. Our next award category is for the Donor Registry Impact Award. Driver's license offices are our most important partner when it comes to registering donors, and this year's honoree is Deb Carlson, Driver Exam Program Manager for the Northern District in Minnesota. Deb was nominated by LifeSource Community Partner Liaison, Jesse Feeney, who has this to say about Deb. I can't think of a more deserving person for this award. Deb has been an incredible partner of LifeSource for many years, always going above and beyond to help move forward ideas and initiatives within DPS in support of our mission. She has been instrumental in various projects to help increase donor registration. Because of help from people like Deb, over 90% of registrations continue to occur at the DMV. Thank you for your incredible partnership.
My name is Deb Carlson. I'm with Driver and Vehicle Services, and I'm so honored to be selected to receive the LifeSource Donor Registry Impact Award. I want to thank Jesse Feeney and Sarah Sun at LifeSource for our exceptional partnership, all of our Driver and Vehicle Services employees and driver's license agents who process applications for driver's licenses, instruction permits, and identification cards across the state. I've been very privileged to work with LifeSource for the past 19 years, starting in 2003 when the driver education curriculum had organ and tissue donation added to the course. My most enjoyable moment working with LifeSource was in 2009 when the filming of the first Check the Box commercial was filmed at our downtown St. Paul office. That was an amazing endeavor to watch the production of that be completed. I've always viewed donation as a choice, a decision that can positively influence so many people by giving the gift of life. Being in a position at DVS to help educate Minnesotans about organ, eye, and tissue donation has been very meaningful to me, as this has tapped into my background as a teacher. As I'm preparing to retire, receiving this award at this point in my career as a public servant helps to remind me of all the great work our partnership has completed toward educating and increasing opportunities for organ, eye, and tissue donations and giving the gift of life. Thank you so much, LifeSource, for this honor.
Thank you, and congratulations, Deb. We're going to take a break from our awards to hear from two incredible women, our keynote speakers, Angel Eudean and Dr. Rolanda Schmidt. Recently, LifeSource communications strategist Lindsay Williams had the chance to sit down with Angel and Dr. Rowe to talk with them about their experiences of being faced with the donation decision for their loved one, as well as their perspectives on ways we can all increase the number of people of color who say yes to donation. Let's take a look.
I am Lindsay Williams. I am the content strategist here at LifeSource. And this evening I have the honor of being joined by two women who I am very excited to have the opportunity to have a conversation with, Dr. Rolanda Schmidt and Angel Eudean. So I'm wondering if each of you could introduce yourselves and just share with us how you came to be part of the LifeSource family and how organ donation has intersected with your lives. And Dr. Rowe, if you go first.
So I smile because I think of my Giovanni, who is forever 18. He just was an amazing young man who loved to play with Legos. He loved to put things together. I just see his incredible smile, his green eyes, his dimples, his shyness as a part of my memories forever. He loved to do a lot of scientific things. My husband's a mechanical engineer, so the two of them would put a lot of things together from scratch. At 18, his life was cut short by his own hands, unfortunately, and he became a part of a statistic of minorities taking their lives way too soon. He was a senior in high school. He also was high functioning autistic. And I believe the emotional aspect of life just became too much for him. I just recall getting there and kind of being in shock, as most people would be under those circumstances. And the doctor came and spoke and told us right away that Giovanni was not going to make it. They said, prepare to have your friends and family come and say goodbye. And when they left out, a nurse came in and she told us that, Gino, his advocate, was there from LifeSource and they would talk to us. And this is a really kind lady. She came in and explained, about the organ donation process, what they do, made me feel comfortable at the moment, but I still was in a raw state of shock, just from everything. And my husband, as I said, is a mechanical engineer, so he works in the medical device field. His brain goes to factual things, and he immediately was like, well, doesn't our attorney need a kidney? And I'm like, yeah, but you can't pick the person. And the nurse overheard us, and she said, well, yeah, you can if the person's a match. Then they came back about maybe 15 minutes later to tell us, my attorney was a match. He also called. I answered. He was like, I'm, just so sorry for the loss of Giovanni, but I'm a match. And so at the moment, you don't realize that a miracle just took place. Like here, my attorney for 4 years had been waiting. And I remember times that he'd be so sick that he couldn't help us because he was on like dialysis and to see him, I think that's where my emotions just hit me. He had the surgery the following day after our experience with LifeSource, seeing all the beautiful ceremonies that LifeSource put together. But when I walked in the room, I didn't believe he actually had surgery because, I mean, he was, I think, 58 then. He's sitting up in the bed, just like I'm sitting up now. He's like, hey, how you doing? And I'm like, you didn't have surgery. He's like, yeah, I got Gino's kidney. He said, I feel like I'm a teenager. Like he seemed like a different person. Like it just seemed like it wasn't even real. So to know that he can live much, much longer now, hopefully another 30 years, with Gino's kidney, is just amazing. But that is how I came in contact with LifeSource.
Wow. And it is incredibly unique to have what we call a directed donation, where if someone has lost a loved one, they are and know that another family member or friend needs an organ, LifeSource will always contact the person in need, their transplant hospital, to see if they're a match. And if they are, then we're happy. It helps everybody every time that an organ is placed and saves a life. And if that weren't the case, we would have asked, would you still consider giving Giovanni's gift to someone in need? Extremely rare. I'm glad that he was able to help not only just anyone in need, but someone that you knew and have had the experience of seeing what that gift has done for them. And Angel, could you share with us a little bit about yourself, about your husband Stuart, and how donation has intersected with your life?
Absolutely. So I will say that I had the pleasure and I was blessed to have been Stuart's wife. We are both originally from Detroit, Michigan, and I now have been here in the Twin Cities area for the last 24 years, and this is home. Made a lot of connections and friendships, and it was really evident the impact that Stuart had on other people's lives. He was 48 years old, and from the visual perspective, he was a picture of perfect health. He worked out vigilantly. We had a full gym in our basement. He traveled extensively for work and would not stay in hotels that did not have workout facilities. He was an avid golfer, and so here's the piece that I believe everything happens for a reason. Stuart was an avid golfer and had golfed on a Saturday morning, and he was at a golf course, and there was a gentleman who joined his threesome and talked about the fact that he was building a home in our neighborhood. I had not met him yet, and Stuart was coming home on a bright sunny June evening from having gone to his karate class because he was working on his black belt. And he came down the street, which was filled with children, navigated quite adeptly through the mill of kids in the streets and what have you, and went to turn into the driveway of our home and got the garage door open and started to make that turn and had a massive heart attack inside the car. But this gentleman, who I had not yet met, but my husband actually knew from playing golf with, was out here in the yard trying to help save my husband's life. It was a insane moment. All the neighbors arrived as the EMTs arrived. My daughter, who was only 10 at the time, witnessed all of us in the front yard working on him, trying to, save his life. And when we got to the hospital, they waited until a friend or family member arrived so that I wasn't alone when they shared with me that he had passed. At that moment was when the individuals, now in retrospect, I don't know if they were from LifeSource because at that point I had no connection to LifeSource. I'm going to now assume that they were. Came in and asked if I would be willing to donate his organs. And in a moment of trauma and shock, I said no, because I felt like, how could you ask me something like this in this moment? I had no perspective that they had no choice but to ask that question because there is a window of time in which the organs are still vital. And so that they needed to come in and have that conversation with me at that time. It didn't take very long. It literally was the very next day when I had, peace of mind to think I should have said yes.
I should have absolutely said yes. It would have mattered to him.
One thing that kind of connects your stories is this conversation about organ, eye, and tissue donation. Angel, as you've shared, you do not have that conversation. Dr. Rowe, I know that you and Giovanni did have that conversation. Could you each talk about the importance of having that conversation and how it impacted the decisions that you made? And Angel, I'd love to hear from you first.
Yeah, I will say, first of all, I encourage everybody to have the conversation. We didn't talk about it. We definitely had talked about cremation and things of that nature, but we hadn't talked about organ donation. And it wasn't that either of us were opposed to it. It just was we didn't talk. And I think the importance of having those conversations is the fact that you should not leave loved ones to make those decisions. Mm-hmm. They're hard decisions to make in the moment. You're dealing with so much emotion and trauma yourself. So having had that conversation before it's a necessity is critical, and it gives you the opportunity to think logically and talk about what matters to you. And so though it's uncomfortable and it's something that most of us don't want to have a discussion around, I think it's really, really important.
Yeah, and Dr. Rowe, could you share with us just how you had that conversation with Giovanni and how that impacted your decision after he passed?
Sure. I believe it's essential to talk to teenagers, especially because the first time they ever hear something like that is perhaps when they get their license or their permit. And that was the same with Giovanni. He was 16. He got it a little bit later in life. When G heard about this opportunity, he was like, okay, cool. And I think any child that's, 16 years old, they may not understand the magnitude, but they still know that they're giving back. And when he checked that box, it just gave us pride. I just never knew that fast forward, it was actually going to affect him in that way and that I'd be burying my son.
Is there anything that you would say to, again, these advocates for donation, hospital staff here at LifeSource, who might make an assumption that people from communities of color are not going to say yes in this time of grief?
I say, first of all, don't assume anything. Okay. Really, because you don't know who you're actually having this discussion with. I think that communities of color, we don't even tend to talk about certain things. We don't talk about money. We don't talk about health. Half the time we don't even go to the doctor until there's something that's paining or ailing us, right? And then when we go, we don't want to share what was told in the doctor's office with anyone because we're presuming that there will be judgment on how I may have handled my health in terms of diet or whatever. So understanding as providers that there's this stigma around these spaces and these conversations is the first piece. But, deciding that you're going to be the catalyst to break the wall down for the benefit of that individual, because that's, again, where the trust will start to come in. And that's where we can start to bridge the divide between provider and patient, is really just saying, I care about you.
When my son passed away, our pastor came, like the whole room was full with different people. And when LifeSource explained what was about to happen, it still was a blur, but they handled the whole process so beautifully that it's like you want to do this, I want to tell everybody about it. So all of us that were in the room, that was our first time experiencing what does happen. Our pastor was taking notes and she was just in awe. I just remember her face, I cannot believe that this is so beautiful that they're going to do this. We were all in tears. It hurt, but it was an honor to my son Giovanni. So for those reasons, I'd say yes.
The flip side of that is put yourself on the other side of the equation. If you were in need of, you would hope that someone would be available and you'd have the opportunity to receive, or a family member. It's not just a one-sided equation where we lose and we give. It's about those who are in need of. And we know that in our community, we have a higher rate of hypertension, diabetes, and other maladies that are impacted and it caused organ failure.
Right.
And so therefore, because of that, we may have a higher rate of receiving in some cases. So we actually need to be cognizant of the flip side of that equation, not just the giving, but the actual receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And if we're going to receive, it only seems fair that we are also willing to give, because you just never know which side of that equation you might be on.
Thank you both so much for your advocacy, for your time, sitting down and sharing your stories. This conversation has been an absolute gift. You were both gifts, and just thank you so much.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Angel and Dr. Rowe, thank you for sharing your very personal and moving experiences and for highlighting the importance of having a conversation about donation with family, friends, and the community. Let's get back to handing out some of our awards. LifeSource ambassadors are some of our greatest assets. They are donation advocates who share their personal stories and educate the community about the power of donation. They are the faces and voices who connect LifeSource to our community. Our LifeSource Ambassador of the Year is Julianne Vosicek. Julianne joined the ambassador program in 2012, knowing that a transplant was likely in her future and wanting to advocate for herself and for the thousands of others waiting for a life-saving transplant. Her advocacy has not slowed down since. Julianne has the unique ability to transform the way people view donation by sharing her own story of her life-saving gift of a liver transplant, which she ultimately received in 2015. Whether she's speaking to high school students, community groups, or healthcare professionals, Julianne finds a way to adapt her message to meet the needs of the audience and to inspire a whole new generation of advocates. Her heartfelt gratitude for her donor and her second chance at life, combined with her energy and passion, leaves a lasting impression on all. LifeSource is fortunate to have her voice among our strongest supporters, and we are thrilled to recognize her for all that she does.
My name is Julianne Vosicek, and I live in Duluth, Minnesota, and I'm absolutely excited to accept this year's LifeSource Ambassador of the Year award. I first and foremost want to thank LifeSource. It's an honor to be an ambassador for such an awesome organization, and I'm so happy to be able to work with wonderful people, but also you all just make such a huge difference. You're the reason that my organ donor was connected with me, and so I want to thank every one of you for the work that you do. It's so important to so many. And I want to thank the Mayo Clinic liver transplant team, and of course, gastroenterology, everybody else I've worked with there. That team pulled me through when I needed the most, and they've just been wonderful every time I've needed to go back. I want to thank my family. My parents spent about 3 years with me off and on for most of it after my transplant because of complications. And the rest of my family has just been supportive along the way, from my brothers to my aunts to everyone else. So I just want to say thank you to them. I love them all. And of course, to my donor, there's nothing much to say besides living every day is honoring the gift that I've been given. When I became a volunteer ambassador in 2012, I had a friend. My liver disease was primary sclerosing cholangitis. And I was involved with an organization called PSC Partners Seeking a Cure, and she needed a transplant. And I didn't know what to do. I didn't feel like there was that much I could do. So I became a volunteer ambassador. And 10 years later, that mission still stays the same. I think spreading the mission and message of organ donation is important. I have another friend who's waiting for her third liver because of PSC. And so the other day when I was found out about this award, it made me think about that it's kind of come full circle. And I'm just so honored to be able to speak on behalf of those who can't, and or those who aren't quite as comfortable speaking. And so it is without many words to express, it is just an absolute honor to receive this. And I will cherish and treasure it forever. So thank you so much. And just remember that one person can make a difference. And that's the message I have now. And my donor made a difference for me. So please keep doing the work you're doing. Thank you so much.
Julianne, thank you for your advocacy and for the impact you make each and every day. Our next award is Community Partner of the Year. This year's honoree is Stella Whitney West, CEO of North Point Health and Wellness Center and LifeSource Community Advisory Council Chair. Susan Larson nominated Stella Whitney West for her leadership of the LifeSource Community Advisory Council. Stella graciously accepted our invitation to serve as the chair of this new council. And as chair, Stella has provided a vision for the council and recruited an amazing group of members who are leaders in their own community. This council is comprised of individuals who bring a diversity of perspective, experience, and passion for donation and transplantation. They provide counsel and advice for the development of an effective and sustainable program which supports our bold aim of advancing equity and inclusion in donation and transplantation. The Community Advisory Council serves as an important link connecting LifeSource to the community and welcoming the community to LifeSource. While new, the Council has already made a significant impact for LifeSource. Through her leadership and advocacy of the mission of donation, Stella is helping LifeSource to advance our work around health equity and inclusion.
I am grateful to accept this Community Partner of the Year award in honor of North Point Health and Wellness Center, our staff, our board of directors, and the people in the communities we serve. I am also grateful to be a part of the LifeSource Community Advisory Council and to celebrate with all of you Donate Life Day. I became familiar with the importance of organ donation when a dear friend, a sister friend of mine named Grace, received the gift of life with a lung donation. And she became an advocate for organ donation in the African American community. It was because of Grace that I have checked the box on my driver's license, my daughter, and now my 17-year-old granddaughter. I know what a blessing it is for a family to receive the gift of life, and I am honored to be partnering with LifeSource and making that happen for every family. Thank you.
Thank you for your incredible dedication, Stella. Our next award is the Donation Advocate Award, which recognizes an individual or organization who continually goes above and beyond in their advocacy for LifeSource and the message of donation. This year's recipients are Don and Sue Frank of MSP Courier. Don and Sue were nominated by the Clinical Resource Supervisor team for their ability to make the seemingly impossible possible. As the team states, without their work, we would literally not be able to save lives. No matter what time of day, the weather conditions, or level of activity, Don and Sue answer their phone, usually by the second ring, and listen calmly and cheerfully, assuring us that they can make it work. There have been countless times when our team has called them midway to Iowa or Nebraska and asked them to reroute to Fargo or back to Minneapolis, and before we knew it, a kidney is being transplanted, saving the life of someone who has been waiting for years. Don and Sue and their whole team are the calm, capable, and compassionate voice that is needed when we are in the midst of this difficult, emotional, and complicated work. They are incredible advocates for donation, and they are absolutely critical to the work we do. We could not do it without them.
Hi, I'm Don Frank, along with my wife Suzanne. We are the owners and operators of MSP Courier, based right here in the Twin Cities. We would like to thank LifeSource for the incredible honor of recognizing MSP Courier as Donation Advocate of the Year. We are an airport courier service that has been working with LifeSource for over 20 years. We have worked with many dedicated and talented people from the organ procurement staff and tissue department over that time. It has been very gratifying for us to grow right along with LifeSource over that time. LifeSource is a perfect example of the type of customer that we are proud to serve as a medically focused courier service. We know that every time we transport an organ or tissue, that we are able to play a small part in improving or possibly saving the life of somebody's parent, child, sibling, or friend. Oftentimes, this means late night pickups, driving hundreds of miles in the middle of winter, or putting an organ on a cross-country flight to get it to a person in need as soon as possible. Sue and I are truly honored to accept this award for MSP Courier, but we could not possibly serve LifeSource without our fantastic staff of drivers who have been transporting organ and tissue literally every single day for over 20 years, weekends and holidays included. Thank you again to everyone at LifeSource for the tireless work they do and all of the donor families that make this work possible. Again, thank you very much.
Congratulations, and thank you to Dawn, Sue, and the entire team at MSP Courier. The Pay It Forward Award honors the efforts of individuals who champion the mission of saving lives through organ, eye, and tissue donation through the sharing of their time, talents, and treasure. This year's honorees actively live out their gratitude for the gift of life they've received, paying it forward. Inspiring, dedicated, humble, and determined. These are the words that describe Tim and Bonnie Bjork. This dynamic duo exudes gratitude for the gift of life that Tim received in 2006, the gift of a heart transplant, which has provided them with many opportunities to enjoy more time with family, to be present for all the milestone celebrations that life has to offer. They enjoy traveling to explore new parts of the country, and Tim continues his quest to find the perfect fly fishing spot. And they give back to their community. Bonnie and Tim are generous with their time, connecting with other transplant recipients and donor families as well, creating a circle of support in and around the Rapid City area that they call home. Tim has served our region advocating for organ, eye, and tissue donation as a LifeSource ambassador and as a member of the LifeSource Board of Directors since 2011. As chair of the board for the last 2 years, during the COVID pandemic and leadership transitions, he has guided the organization with wisdom and calm determination. Tim and Bonnie led through their example, inspiring others to support donation in what ways are meaningful for them. For their humble leadership, we are grateful.
We're truly honored to be receiving this gift, this award. Especially, of course, we have to single out donors and donor families. I mean, they're the heroes in this whole situation. Without them, we aren't here. We aren't the two of us, and it's the donor families that's made all the donors and the donor families that have made all these things happen. And in addition to the donor families, we have to thank the caregivers in this situation, because without the caregivers to get us through all the things that happen throughout this whole transplantation donation process, we wouldn't be here either. I can guarantee you that. So thanking the caregivers. And, you know, once you get through the basic part of the process, the technical part of the process, there's the psychological part of the process and the healing part of the process. And in that healing process, in at least my situation, I found out the best way to help myself heal is to help somebody else heal. So we've reached out to others throughout this whole process, and it's been almost 16 years now. And as we've done that, we've found that the more that we help others, the more that we help ourselves. And maybe it's kind of a selfish thing where it just feels so good because there are so many people out there that need so many things. And that's one of the ways that I got into LifeSource was to find a way to help, to find another way to help. And I found that being with LifeSource, there are so many caring people in the organization that you can't thank them enough. All of the people who work for LifeSource have been just a blessing to all of us. Bonnie, you know.
Well, we certainly appreciate this award, and it has been so simple for us to do what we've done, and in such a small way to thank the donors, the staff, but more importantly for me, having a husband to love and celebrate the last 16 years with. The gift of life and what LifeSource does is amazing. And if there's some way that we can do to help their mission and particularly help bring recognition to organ donation, we are so excited and so thankful to be able to do that.
Tim and Bonnie, thank you for your dedication and endless gratitude for the gift of life. Our final award is the Founders Award. This is a special award to recognize individuals who were instrumental in making LifeSource the organization that it is today. It is our privilege to honor LifeSource founder and CEO Emeritus, Susan Gunderson, with this distinguished award. It has truly been a unique honor and privilege for all of us to have been able to work with Susan Gunderson. She has been a visionary leader from the moment she accepted the call to lead LifeSource. The accomplishments during her tenure are significant and profound. Her legacy as founder of LifeSource is far-reaching, as all of those she has taught, mentored, and supported will continue her vision and this noble mission into the future. LifeSource Board of Directors Chair Tim Bjork shares, Susan's contributions to LifeSource and the Organ Procurement Organization, or OPO, community are unmatched, and we are deeply grateful for the 33 years she has dedicated to founding, building, and growing LifeSource and its talented team. Thanks to that work and commitment, LifeSource has cared for more than 15,000 families of donors who provided healing and life to more than 15,000 organ transplant recipients, and an estimated 1 million people who have received tissue and corneal transplants. Congratulations, Susan. So well deserved.
Thank you for the very kind words and comments. I'm incredibly humbled to be recognized with this LifeSource Founders Award. And what can be more fitting than to celebrate this occasion on Donate Life Day, surrounded virtually by our partners, friends, team members, and colleagues. I'd first like to say congratulations to all the award winners. Such well-deserved recognition and clear examples of the passion and dedication so many bring to this mission. When I was approached with the idea of creating an organization to serve organ donation, I had only brief knowledge and awareness of the recent but rapidly evolving breakthroughs in the fields of transplantation. The story of little Jamie Fisk and her surgeon, Dr. John Najarian, was certainly well known, not only in Minnesota, but across the nation. And while working earlier at Mayo Clinic, I witnessed the launch of the liver transplant program there, under the leadership of Dr. Rudy Crum. Indeed, some of the best minds and surgical hands in the field of transplantation. And while I knew I supported the concept of donation, I was a bit relieved to pull out my driver license and see that I had, in fact, checked the box, likely since I received my initial driving permit many years before. What drew me to this work right out of the gate was a sense of opportunity, of making a difference, of being part of something that had great potential and such compelling need. But perhaps most importantly, what called me was the sense of purpose and humanity. This is not abstract medicine. This is personal, relationship-based, and community-driven. That was true back in 1989, and it is unchanged today. It's exciting and sobering at the same time. Many of you have heard me talk about this work being at the absolute intersection of high-touch medicine and high-tech medicine. For all the miraculous moments of seeing a surgically stilled heart start beating again in another's chest, there is equal clarity that none of these miracles would be possible without the extraordinary generosity of others, who in their deepest, darkest moments choose to look beyond their own grief and help others. This is indeed the best of humanity, and I have been so privileged to be part of those journeys with my team, serving more than 15,000 families. I am so very grateful to have been surrounded by an extraordinary team, both a strong and stable team, along with the very welcome of many new faces fueling our growth. Every day, we are motivated by the sense of stewardship of the gifts of donation and the absolute hope that more patients will be helped through organ, eye, and tissue donation. I know the future is bright in pursuit of the bold aims of saving more lives through organ donation and advancing inclusion so that our team reflects the diversity of the communities we serve and that all communities participate equally in donation. LifeSource is in good hands under Peter Farsted's leadership. Our success has equally been made possible through the dedicated board leaders who advanced our goals and strategies and who supported me personally as well at every step. It has been a privilege to be surrounded by such impressive and committed volunteer leaders from across our 3 states. Both when we were riding high and when we were challenged, I knew I could always call on our advocates and professional partners to help out. Thank you again for such kind recognition. I am truly privileged and humbled to have guided our team as they brought care, compassion, healing, and new life to countless families and patients who are part of this circle of life. Thank you.
Congratulations again to all our honorees. And thank you to everyone for joining us this evening. Thank you for sharing the message of donation each and every day to help us achieve our vision that everyone shares the gift of life. We are humbled by your passion, your openness, and your inspiration, and your hope. Thank you for joining us, and have a good evening.